Now, the greatest radio shows of all time.
Suspense.
The Shadow Node.
Washington calling David Harding, counter-spy.
Classic radio theater.
The Great Gildersleeve.
Fibber McGee and Molly.
Dragnet. Gunsmoke.
The Lone Ranger.
Now, step back into our time machine with your host, Wyatt Cox.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum.
An unusual episode of Dr. Christian. As you know, the show normally would star Jean Hersholt, but for a period of time in 1945, Jean Hersholt was off, and so Claude Rains sitting in as Dr. Alexander Webb for Dr. Christian. This episode from June 13th, 1945 is called Jere to Liebe.
Dr. Christian's office.
The Vaseline program presenting a new prize play called Jere to Liebe by Ruth Cornwall Woodman of Rye, New York, starring Claude Rains in the role of Dr. Alexander Webb, who has temporarily taken over Dr. Christian's practice, and Helen Clare in the role of Judy Price. This is the 13th day of June, 1945, and tonight is the night that the winner of the $2,000 Dr. Christian Award was scheduled to be announced. But because our star, Jean Hersholt, is in Europe on a special mission and cannot be with us, the announcement of the award winner has been postponed until Jean Hersholt's return at the end of this month. Meanwhile, we invite you to hear the famous motion picture star, Claude Rains, as Dr. Alexander Webb in tonight's prize play, Jere to Liebe. And you'll know more about this strange title as the play progresses. It begins on a Friday afternoon in River's End. Dr. Webb has made his afternoon's rounds and is just walking in the door of Dr. Christian's office.
Well, Judy, hard at it. What are the bills?
Yes, I've made up my mind to try to collect some of the money owing to Dr. Christian. How'd your day go, Doctor?
Well, as well as can be expected, I guess. Jere puts his sacroiliac got right back into place when I appeared on the scene. Oh, Miss Meade refused to take my white pills because she said Dr. Christian always gave up pink ones. And Lily Elaine Gresham collapsed on her chaise lounge when I suggested she give up chocolates for the duration.
Oh, those are some of the ones who impose on Dr. Christian and don't pay their bills.
Yeah. I don't suppose there are any calls for me, rather, just for Dr. Alexander Webb.
Oh, of course. What am I thinking of? Your young friend Joyce Kirby called. Oh, that's probably Joyce now. I told her you'd be in about now. Dr. Christian's office? Oh, yes, Joyce. Yes, he is. Just a moment. Doctor?
Hello, Joyce. Yeah. What? He is? When did he arrive? Well, that's wonderful. I know how happy and relieved you must be. Yeah, that's a fine idea. Give everybody a chance to welcome him home. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll drop in a few minutes. Goodbye, Joyce. Hap Osgood's home from the Philippines.
I gathered that was it.
Just landed this afternoon. In an army plane.
Didn't drop by parachute? I'm surprised.
Why?
Well, Hap always likes to do the unusual.
Well, they're holding a reception for him tomorrow night at the community center. Inviting everyone.
Well, that'd be nice.
Joyce has asked me to serve on the committee and introduce him.
As if Hap Osgood needed any introducing after all that's been in the papers about him. Hap Osgood, young war correspondent, ventures beyond front lines and is made prisoner by Japs. Hap Osgood escapes Nipponese captors, flees into hills. Hap Osgood rescued by Yanks.
You don't like Hap Osgood?
Oh, Hap's all right, only... Well, I feel he does play himself up a bit too much.
Well, this stuff's mighty interesting.
But how so many things can happen to one person?
Well, it's been like that all his life, even as a small boy here. That's how he got his nickname. Well, if there are any calls for me in the next half hour, Judy, you can reach me at the Kirby's.
Steve.
Oh, Judy, I'm so happy I'm practically delirious.
Where's the lion?
Hap? Over there where the crowd is thickest. Oh, Judy, you should hear his stories.
I probably will.
You know, for months he lived in a hut with a bunch of natives in the most awful squalor, eating nothing but leaves and grass and strange fruit and root and berries and ants and everything. He lost pounds.
I can see from here he's terribly thin.
Oh, he's been half starved, but he's making up for it now. For breakfast this morning, what do you think he ate? What? 6 scrambled eggs, half a pound of bacon, a whole pan of popovers drenched in butter, but real butter.
Oh.
Coffee with thick cream that I wangled from a farmer.
Don't, I can't bear it.
Well, you better get on the line, Judy, if you want to speak to him. People are still crowding in.
I will. See you later, Joyce.
Hey, Judy, how about that dance?
Thank you, Mrs. Powell. Good to be back. Yes, indeed. Good night, sir. Glad to have seen you again.
You're someone I'm sure I won't have to introduce you to, Hap.
Judy!
Hello, Hap.
Judy Price. Or is it Judy something else now?
No, still the same old price.
And still a high ceiling on it, I'll bet.
Oh. How are you, Hap?
Glad to be alive, thank you, and back in the USA. I've promised my publishers I'd turn out a book for them in the next month.
A book in a month? Listen to the man.
We will be listening to him, Judy. Broadcasting next week from New York.
Really?
Yes, I just had a wire today asking me if I'd appear as guest speaker on that program Behind the Headlines.
Oh, how exciting.
It'll be rather fun, I think, though I really prefer an audience I can see.
You will have plenty of those too, Hap.
Oh, I'm afraid I'm holding up the line. I better be moving on, give somebody else a chance. I hope you'll find time to get married, Hap, in between all these other assignments.
Well, Joyce has set the date early next week and is going with me to New York.
Oh, Mr. Osgood.
Huh?
You remember Miss Clum, don't you, Hap, our librarian?
Miss Clum, of course.
Oh, my dear boy, it's just too wonderful to shake hands with you.
Morning, Judy.
Good morning, Dr. Webb. Well, quite a party, wasn't it?
As Hap himself expressed it, a jaguar, a Brunhilde.
Hap hasn't changed a bit.
You don't think so?
Oh, of course, he's lost a lot of weight.
Terrific lot.
But he'll soon gain that back again at the rate he's being wined and dined.
Now, I think he looks quite badly. His color's poor. He's highly nervous.
Well, I don't suppose that's surprising, considering what he's been through.
No. By the way, Judy, make a note of the date when he's broadcasting, will you? I don't want to miss it.
Oh, somebody paging you, Doctor. Dr. Christian's office? Yes? Oh, hello, Joyce. Yes, he is. Just a minute. Joyce Kirby. She sounds rather upset.
Huh? Hello? Morning, Joyce. Hap? No, he's not here. I haven't seen him since the party. Saturday night. That's odd. You called the hotel, of course. Mm-hmm. And they didn't know. I see. Well, why don't you try the newspaper office? He might have gone there to do some work, and, Oh, you have? Mm-hmm. And they couldn't tell you anything either? Well, now, don't worry, Joyce. He'll turn up with a good excuse. You know, Hap. Meanwhile, if I run across him, I'll give him a piece of my mind for standing you up like that. All right, Joyce. Bye.
What's happened?
Hap's missing.
Missing in River's End?
Well, he had a date with Joyce yesterday afternoon and never showed up. She's heard nothing from him.
Well, how strange.
Yeah, it is. Desk clerk at the hotel saw him go out around noon. Hasn't been back since.
Well, did he take a bag with him?
Nope. Things are still there.
Do you suppose he's met with an accident?
Well, I'd have been the first to hear of it if he had.
Yes, of course. Unless...
Unless what?
There are some deadfalls here in River's End, aren't there?
Yes, there are, and I'm going to investigate them right away, just to make sure.
Hap Osgood, the newspaper fella? Nope, he ain't been in here, Doctor. I wish he had. I'd have set up drinks in the house. What a guy.
Western Union. Message for Dr. Alexander Webb.
Last word from Osgood was wire, dated March 24th, confirming broadcast appearance. We'll let you know if he turns up here. Signed, Continental Broadcasting Company.
I'd have known if he bought a railroad ticket, Doctor. I've been on duty here at the depot regular.
We aren't renting out cars anymore, Doc, on account of the gas shortage. So even if he applied for one, which he didn't, why...
And he hasn't a car of his own. So if he's left town, must have gone on foot.
Or disguised himself so no one would recognize him.
Why would he do that?
Why would he disappear at all?
I wish to heaven I knew, Judy.
Dr. Webb, don't you think the FBI ought to be notified? This is Wednesday. It's 3 days since anyone's laid eyes on him.
Well, if it were anybody but Hap Osgood, I would, but knowing his love for the sensational...
You don't mean you think this may be just a publicity stunt?
No, I don't. There'd be no point to it.
Poor Joyce is almost out of her mind. She's sure he's met with foul play.
I'll take it. Dr. Webb speaking. Oh, yes. Good morning, Miss Clum. Yes, we are. You did? He was? When? When was this? Yes. Yes, I'll be right over.
News?
That was Bessie Clump, librarian. She says Hap Osgood was in the library on Sunday afternoon.
You heard at the beginning the announcement of the delay of the Dr. Christian Award. In the later part of the show, by the 1940s, listeners contributed the majority of scripts that were usually professionally polished before they were used, and an annual script writing competition. And as you heard, the announcement of the $2,000 Top Prize Award was postponed. But as you heard, this particular show, Jere the Libe, was written by a listener. By the way, some of the winners of the show, Rod Serling and a fellow by the name of Earl Hamner Jr., man behind the Waltons, Falcon Crest, and the book Spencer's Mountain. Thank you for tuning in to Classic Radio Theater. More of Dr. Christian from June 13th, 1945, when we continue following these important messages.
You ever make a change and then think, why didn't I do this years ago? Well, that's how people feel about switching to Medishare for their health care, especially now with inflation the way it is. People are very happy with the savings. Most families save about $500 a month when they switch. It's a huge help when prices are going up so fast in so many other areas. And Medishare's customer satisfaction rate is double that of health insurance. It's just a different experience, and people really like that. Medishare is an alternative to health insurance. It's a community of Christians who share each other's healthcare bills, and it's been going strong for over 25 years. It really is the gold standard, the most trusted name in healthcare sharing. Find out why people love it, find out why they rave about the customer service, and find out how good it feels to save some money right now. They're super easy to talk to. Here's the number, 833-34-BIBLE. That's 833-34-BIBLE, 833-34-BIBLE.
Claude Rains, in the middle of a spectacular career that spanned almost 7 decades when he filled in for Jean Hersholt in this and a couple of other episodes of Dr. Christian. He passed away in May of 1967, but among the movies you would know him for, of course, the 1933 Invisible Man, Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, Casablanca, and King's Row in 1942, and 1965's The Greatest Story Ever Told. Now more of Dr. Christian, starring Claude Rains sitting in for Jean Hersholt, from June 13th, 1945.
Well, I found him waiting here on the doorstep when I arrived.
How long was he here?
Well, not more than 15 minutes. He walked in straight over to where we keep the encyclopedias and began looking something up.
Mm-hmm.
And next thing I knew, I looked up from my desk, and there he was going out with so much as a thank you or a goodbye.
Doesn't sound like Hap.
Well, the way he talked, I feel sure he wasn't quite himself. He was quite unsteady, and when he reached the door, he had to fumble to find the knob.
It was around 3:30.
Well, 3:45.
Uh-huh. You don't know what he was looking up in the encyclopedia?
No, but I can tell you what volume it was in, because he didn't put it back on the shelf. It was Jere to Live.
Jere to Live?
You know how they index the volumes alphabetically.
Oh, yes.
Well, this was the one that begins with Jere and ends up with Libe.
Jere to Live.
I don't suppose it'll help you any, but...
Well, it may. Maybe just the clue we need. Thank you, Miss Plum.
Almost 1,000 pages in that volume, Dr. Webb.
I still have a feeling that if we knew what he was reading up on, it might provide a clue.
Well, shall we start at the beginning? Jericho, Uritza, Jersey City, Jerusalem.
No, it's getting late, Judy. You run along home and get some sleep.
Good evening.
Good evening. Why, you're one of the Cantrell boys, aren't you?
Yes'm, I'm Walt.
Well, come in.
Yes'm. I have a message for the new doctor.
I'm the doctor. What is it?
Well, he says tell the doctor to come.
Who said so? Come where?
To the old shack at the stone quarry.
Oh, well, that's been abandoned for years. No one there now?
He's there.
Who?
A man who gave me the message.
What's his name?
I don't know.
What does he look like?
I only saw him in the dark. But he talks fast, kind of jerky like. And he says send the new doctor here.
Dr. Webb, do you suppose...
Must be. Couldn't be anybody else. I'll be right with you, my friend. Just let me get my coat and hat and, my case.
And your nurse. You will let me go, too, won't you, Dr. Webb? He may be hurt or badly off, and you'll need some help.
All right, come along, Judy. This is where you turn off the quarry, isn't it?
Uh-huh. The shack's just up that lane a piece. You drop me here.
You mean you aren't coming the rest of the way with us?
Nope. I'll get out here.
Just as you say. Good night. Thank you.
Okay.
Good night, Walt.
Hang on. This road's pretty bad.
Is that the shack up ahead?
Must be.
I don't see a sign of a light in it.
No.
You don't suppose this is all a wild goose chase, do you, Dr. Webb?
Well, we'll soon find out. You want to wait here in the car?
I do not. I'm coming right with you. It looks completely deserted. I hear footsteps inside. Someone's coming.
Who's there? Dr. Webb. Alexander Webb.
Dr. Webb.
Hap, in heaven's name, what are you doing here?
Dr. Webb. Judy.
Oh, Hap, we've all been so worried about you.
No, don't come in, Judy. You mustn't come in. You better not come too close yourself, Doctor.
What's the matter, Hap? You got smallpox or something?
Worse than that, Dr. Webb. It's leprosy.
Leprosy?
Oh, good heavens.
I came here as soon as I found out. I've been almost crazy trying to decide what to do. If I'd had a gun, I think I'd have finished myself rather than face what's ahead.
No. Wait a minute, Hap. Take it easy. You say you've contracted leprosy. What makes you think so?
I've got all the symptoms. I know leprosy when I see it. I saw plenty of it out there on the islands among those native tribes. Have you ever seen anyone in the last stages of leprosy, Dr. Webb?
Leprosy is something we don't encounter very often in this country, Hap.
It's horrible. More horrible than anything you can imagine. Sometimes it takes years, but mine's not the slow kind, thank God. Not the way it's developed in just the past few days. I've sat here and watched it. Growing. Spreading.
When were you first suspicious?
Sunday morning I woke up. My hands felt queer. I looked. There were the spots. Those horrible, unmistakable spots. If I'd only known before I reached home a day earlier even, so I wouldn't have gone among all those people, shaking hands with them. God knows how many I've passed it on to.
Well, leprosy isn't as infectious as all that happened. It isn't necessarily fatal. There are plenty of cases on record that have been cured, just like tuberculosis. Cured in a relatively short time, too. So if you have contracted it...
There's no if about it, Dr. Webb. I got all the symptoms, I tell you. The dark, coppery red patches on hands and feet and face, about the size of a shilling, symmetrical in shape, that come with the attacks of fever and then fade only to appear again.
Where did you read all this?
I've seen leprosy, don't you understand, in the islands of the Pacific.
Uh-huh. And you read about it in the encyclopedia.
Well...
Jere to Live. Jere to Libe.
What?
Come on. Get in the car.
What?
You don't mind riding the back seat, do you, Judy?
Of course not.
Take this lap robe and wrap it around you, Hap.
Dr. Webb...
You're coming back to River's End with me.
That's interesting. Jere to Libe in the encyclopedia. People wouldn't get that today. June 13th, 1945, Dr. Christian. I'm Wyatt Cox. Thanks for tuning in to Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. The conclusion next on your favorite station.
No offense, but are you a little fat when you look in the mirror? How would you like to learn the secrets to lose 3 to 5 pounds a week easily without joining the gym or going through any crazy diets? It's called Body Sculpt by Med Diet. For the last 2 decades, we've been helping people just like you that have pounds they want to shed. We've helped millions of people lose thousands and thousands of pounds over the years. And now it's your turn. Learn the secrets of how to lose weight with one simple phone call. You'll see an amazing difference in a matter of days. Don't believe us? We'll offer you a money-back guarantee. If you're ready to start losing weight right now, call right now to learn more about your risk-free order to Body Sculpt.
Call for your risk-free offer. 800-738-5332. 800-738-5332. 800-738-5332. That's 800-738-5332.
Are you in bad pain? You know what I mean. Your knees hurt. Your shoulder hurts. Your elbow and back are constantly killing you. And I'm sure you've tried every pain pill or cream available at the drugstore. Am I right? Well, here's something you haven't tried. Pain Magic. Pain Magic is not available at any drugstore. The only place you can get it is by calling the special toll-free number I'm about to give you.
And to make things even better, call right now and find out about our buy one, get one free offer. We're so confident it'll work for you that we offer a free bottle with your purchase. No prescription required.
Call now to learn how you can get Pain Magic and get rid of your pain. Remember, your results may vary.
800-492-8164. 800-492-8164. 800-492-8164. That's 800-492-8164.
Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, the conclusion of Dr. Christian, starring Claude Rains sitting in for Jean Hersholt, from June 13th, 1945.
All right, Hap. You can put your shirt on again now.
Here.
Don't you touch it, Judy.
Oh, it won't hurt her.
But, Doctor...
A lot of things have happened to you in your lifetime, Hap, but leprosy isn't one of them.
Dr. Webb, you mean I...
What you've got is nothing more nor less than a case of hives.
Hives?
Hives?
Just plain hives?
No, rather fancy ones. Induced by too much and too rich food after months of semi-starvation.
Dr. Webb...
Oh, it's not unusual. We've had other cases, civilians back from several years in England, some bad enough for the hospital.
Hives?
If you'd come to me in the first place, I could have told you.
Hives?
Saved you a lot of mental suffering.
Hives?
That's what doctors are for, you know.
I was afraid to come to you, Dr. Webb.
Afraid to hear the truth.
I guess so.
And so you decided to diagnose the case yourself. Went to the library and looked up leprosy in the encyclopedia.
Yes.
Well, and with every word you read, you became more convinced you had it.
Well,
Now, don't you know that reading about a disease is one of the shortest ways of making yourself believe you got it?
But you'll have to admit the symptoms.
The symptoms of leprosy and hives aren't remotely alike. They only sounded so.
I should have had more sense, of course.
Well, you're not the only one, Hap. You'd be surprised the number of people who put off going to a doctor because of fear. And half the time, there's nothing to be afraid of.
I feel like a fool, Dr. Webb.
Yeah, and you itch like the devil.
Yes.
Well, I'll give you something to relieve it, unless you'd rather prescribe for yourself.
Oh, Dr. Webb, please.
Well, it'll take a while to clear up. Having let it go like this, you better cancel that radio appearance. And, you'd better postpone your wedding another week.
Joyce!
I was wondering when you remember her.
What time is it?
Just 1 minute to 12.
May I use your phone, Doctor?
Help yourself, right in the outer office.
Thank you.
June the 13th. And 1 week of Dr. Christian's absence is gone.
Yes, so it is.
Judy, how long has Dr. Christian been practicing in River's End?
Forever. Since before I was born.
Uh-huh. And in all that time, did he ever have a case of leprosy?
Mercy, no, of course not.
Good. And Dr. Alexander Webb is one up on Dr. Christian.
And the curtain comes down on another Dr. Christian prize play starring Claude Rains as Dr. Alexander Webb and Helen Clare as Judy Price. May I repeat an important message which I gave you at the beginning of the show tonight? It's this. Announcement of the winner of the $2,000 Dr. Christian Award for 1945, which was to have been made tonight, has been postponed till the end of this month because of the temporary absence of our star, Jean Hersholt, who is in Europe on a special mission. Meanwhile, let me give you the names of the committee of judges who are reviewing the scripts right now. The Judges Committee is a particularly distinguished one this year. It includes first the popular motion picture and stage star, Claude Rains, now appearing on this program. Second, Cheryl Crawford, Broadway's famous woman producer, whose recent hits were One Touch of Venus, The Perfect Marriage, and The Tempest. And third, Burns Mantle, Dean of New York Drama Critics, whose recent book, 10 Best Plays, has just been published. Jean Hersholt, who plays Dr. Christian, and Dorothy McCann, producer of this and other radio programs, complete the roster. Ladies, for soft, shining, glamorous hair, simply do this. Apply Vaseline hair tonic before shampooing with massage. Afterwards, like a brilliantine, get Vaseline hair tonic. We invite you to hear the Vaseline program again next week, presenting a new Dr. Christian prize play starring Claude Rains and Helen Clare. We hope also to hear from Jean Hersholt direct from Copenhagen, Denmark. And here's a message from your government urging everyone to avoid unnecessary travel at this critical period when millions of men and their equipment are being transferred from the European theater of war to the Pacific. Uncle Sam needs every bit of rolling stock right now. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Ah, yes, it was still wartime, and things are moving to the Pacific Theater, if you will. June 13th, 1945, Dr. Christian on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox.
It's a big, bold story set in the heartland of America, along the edge of Lonely Mountain. I am open for business. And so Big William Gorgon, played by handsome Michael James, fiercely set down his Midwest roots.
Oh, darling, we're going to sell bathrobes and raise chickens.
Set his adoring wife, Wilhelmina, portrayed by beautiful Glenda Olsen.
Oh, I love our store, Will.
But they hadn't counted on Big Ralph's bathrobes and cattle store coming to town.
Oh, Will, what will we do, Will?
Will had a plan, a way of facing off against tough Big Ralph. We're going to change the face of America. We're going to advertise.
Ad for what?
With print, broadcasting, and bus benches. We're going to tell people who we are and where we are.
What's a bus?
And so the story of how one man brought advertising to the heartland.
Oh, will it work?
It will. Well, my name ain't Will, Wilhelmina. You got to advertise or we'll die. And so the greatest marketing story of all time is here. Advertise or die, dopey.
Put your message on this national advertising platform. Email classicradiotheater@gmail.com. classicradiotheater@gmail.com. Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, Part 3 of the 5-part Yours Truly Johnny Dollar story, The Laughing Matter. John Daner playing the lead role in this. Originally broadcast June 13th, 1956.
From Hollywood, it's time now for...
Johnny Dollar.
Capitan de Vidro Parral, senor, of the Ensenada Police.
Oh, hi, Parral. I tried to call you a few minutes ago. We've had a shooting out here at the hotel.
And somebody, she's dead,
No, nobody's dead. The bullet missed. Somebody fired a shot from the terrace into one of the rooms.
I am flush with the red light, senor. I make the siren. I'm come like the wind.
Good. But will you do me one thing before you blow up a storm?
Mande usted?
There's a man missing from his room here, a friend of the man who was shot at. He must be around town somewhere.
Pues sí.
He's an Americano, about 45, name's Frank Maltz.
Frank Maltz. Bueno, we'll find him. I'm going to make one APC T.
B, you mean, APB.
Sí, APB, like on radio in Los Estados.
All right, hop to it, Parral.
Sí, senor. Senor, what it is, this APB?
Tonight, and every weekday night, Bob Bailey in the transcribed adventures of the man with the action-packed expense account, America's fabulous freelance insurance investigator.
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar. From Special Investigator Johnny Dollar, location Ensenada, Mexico, to the Home Office, Union States Casualty Company, Hartford, Connecticut. Assignment, The Laughing Matter. Expense account continued. Item 6, $1, a pot of coffee from the hotel kitchen, special. It was 1 a.m. I'd been half asleep when the shot was fired, and I hoped the coffee would help get me at least half awake. I hadn't expected it to happen that way. And neither had good old lovable Charlie Burton, America's favorite TV comic, according to his press agents. Charlie had called it a joke, but he wasn't laughing now, and neither was I. Charlie's life was insured for $500,000, payable to his sponsor.
Where he is, senor, this man who was get shot?
He didn't get shot, Parral. He got shot at.
Pues sí, it's what I wish to say, but the tongue is not make English too good.
Well, you're doing fine. The manager gave Bert another room, inside, away from the terrace here. He's probably got the door locked and the furniture piled in front of it.
¿Mande?
I mean, he's scared. Very scared. Comprende?
Oh, sí. Él tiene mucho miedo.
Yeah, I guess so. Now, according to his story, he was asleep, here on this side of the bed. Someone fired the shot from outside on the terrace. It broke the window there. And the bullet lodged here in the bed, about 6 inches above Burton's head, where he was lying on the pillow.
Sí, yo puedo verlo. And then he is wake up quick. He is no see nobody, senor? Is no hears nobody?
No, he was too scared to know. He jumped out of bed, ran down the inside corridor, and banged on my door. I searched the terrace right away and didn't find a thing.
And these other people which are work for him to make the television, they are also having room which are close to this?
Parral, your tongue may not make the English too good, but there's nothing wrong with your head.
¿Mande usted?
I mean, you're okay, amigo. You're a good cop.
Gracias, senor.
Yes, any one of them could have fired that shot.
And they are big which ones, these people?
Well, there's Frank Maltz. He's the producer of the Charlie Burton show. He's the one who was missing from his room, the one I asked you to locate.
See, you say.
Then there's Gloria Dale. She's the feminine star of the show. She's in the third room down.
She is in the room of her when the shoot was fired?
Yeah, she'd gone to bed. I had to beat on the door to wake her. She hadn't even heard the shot. She'd been pretty upset. She'd been drinking earlier.
See? It's always the same. These Americanas ladies which have come to Ensenada, always they are drink too much.
You may be right. Anyway, the third member of the group is Al Schreiber, second room down. He's an actor, too.
And where he is when these things happen?
In bed, so he says. The shot woke him up, and he came out into the corridor while Burton was banging on my door.
And these are all, senor?
Yep, that's the bunch.
Which one you think is not like this, Charlie?
Every single one of them hates him. Then there's another possibility, too. That girl I asked you to check on earlier, the maid who works here at the hotel.
You see, la señora Evelina Morales. Pues we're looking, but we are not find her yet.
Oh?
Ella no está en casa. She are no at her house, señor.
Oh, I see.
Ni el marido tampoco es. Also, the, how you say, her husband is gone.
Oh, then she is married.
Oh, sí, señor.
You're still looking for her, aren't you?
Pues sí, señor. No tenga cuidado. It's no big town, Ensenada. We'll find her too soon now. I think es por mí, yo creo. I am tell the manager I was here. La policía acá. Sí, capitán de vidro Paral. ¿Dónde? Bien, sí. Muy bien. Bien, adiós. This man you are say have disappeared, señor.
Frank Maltz?
He was now be found.
Where is he?
Es un cantina, a nightclub. It's called the 21.
21. Where is it? In town somewhere?
You see, it is the, how you say, senor, it's one big hot spot.
Item 7, $1, taxi into town. Peral stayed at the hotel to talk to Charlie Burton and the others. I thought it might do some good, at least by keeping them off balance. Regardless of his knowledge of English, Peral was a smart lad, and his eyes never missed a thing. The 21 may have been a hot spot earlier, but at this time of night it was almost deserted. There were a few weary B-girls drowsing at the bar, a scant handful of last-ditch patrons, and Frank Maltz, alone at a table, glowing with mellow geniality and bottled health.
Well, now, another night out with insomnia and a taste for dives. Pull up a chair, Johnny.
Thanks. Been here long?
Forever.
Oh.
At least for years and years. I am part of the place, my boy. These worm-eaten rafters, the crumbling walls, this musty aroma of ancient tequila that was spilled on these tiles long before you were even born.
I see.
You see, the place was built by the conquistadores, and I dropped in the very next day. I've been here ever since.
Maltz, look, chum.
Now, speak softly, softly, friend. This is hallowed ground. This is the meeting place. This is the crossroads, you see, for two separate worlds. The tourists come traipsing down from Beach Boulevard up there. They call it slumming. And the townsfolk come up from Gastelum and Balboa, and they all meet here. And they drink tequila, and then they dance the fandango. Hey, amigo, how about playing a fandango? No, he can't hear you, because he is dead. We are all dead here, Johnny.
You know something, Maltz? You're not nearly as plastered as you're pretending to be.
I know that, Johnny.
Have you been here all evening? Here in the 21?
How do you like that name, 21? It means a 21, you know.
Yeah, I know. Have you been here in the 21 all evening?
Oh, no. I've been in all of them. I just ended up here. Ever see a better place to end up, Johnny?
Where were you around 12:40 tonight?
What? What are you driving at?
Somebody took a shot at Charlie Burton tonight.
Ooh, I got my fingers crossed, did they?
No, they didn't hit him.
Well, maybe they'll have another chance.
Not if I can prevent it.
Now, that's why you were checking times on me, huh? You think I maybe made a clay pigeon out of that rat.
Did you?
Johnny, I left the hotel at 10 o'clock. I've been a lot of places since, but not back there. I don't know where I was at 12:40. Maybe some bartender around town will know. I have seen them all tonight, one time or another.
This lush stuff seems to be a habit with all of you, including Gloria.
Well, stick around Burton a month. You'll know why.
So, why do you stick around him?
Me, personally, there's a couple of reasons, I guess. I'm trying to help somebody else, for one thing. Well, myself at the same time, of course.
Meaning?
Al Schreiber. The kid is great, Johnny. He really is. And it'll be his show next year, if we can hang on. And for the same sponsor.
With you producing?
Well, that's right. They're fed up with Charlie Burton, and they've got reason to be. He's a phony name, Johnny, nothing else. It's a fake. It's a build-up. They got to spend more on press relations now than it costs to produce the show.
Then with Charlie out of it, you and Al would be in. Is that the way it stacks up?
That's right.
You said you had a couple of reasons for staying on.
Now, forget it. The second one is not important. It's a sob story.
Well, it won't be the first one I've heard tonight.
I'm married, you see, Johnny. 23 years now. And for the last 8, my wife has been completely paralyzed. Utterly helpless. She's in a sanitarium upstate. She has to have special care. Special treatments, and it costs $350 a week, 52 weeks a year. So I stay on with Burton, and I go on hating him. And whenever the hate gets too bad, I go up and see her. Well, she doesn't know me. She doesn't know anyone. She just lies there and breathes. But I look at her. And I remember how she was. And how I loved her. And I still love her, Johnny. So that's the way it is.
I left him there in the cantina with his love and his hate and walked out into the street, empty and silent under the wheeling stars in the soft, dark night. A lone dog sidled past, gray and gaunt, intent on some mission of his own, and faded into the shadows. And the town slept, its own loves and hates put aside until morning. Quiet town. Then the emptiness was filled with sound, and a flashing red light slashed the darkness. Parral of the Ensenada Police. He said the maid from the hotel, Valena Morales, had come home. One of his sergeants was waiting there with her.
Buenas noches, senora.
Buenas noches.
The tiny room was lit by a flickering oil lamp, and a candle burned beneath a crucifix on the wall above the bed. Cement floor and adobe walls, bare and clean, like the cell of a nun in a convent.
¿Y su hombre? ¿En dónde está él?
Yo no sé.
She was young,
¿Qué le
pretty,
importa?
and at the moment very
¿Dónde estabas
frightened.
tú más temprano?
En la casa de una amiga. ¿Por qué me preguntas?
Espérate, señora. Hace poco uno trató de matarle a un señor allá en el Hotel Balboa.
¿Qué dices? ¿Cuál señor?
Un americano, el señor Carlos Burton.
Ay, de mí. ¿Qué tengo yo que hacer?
She talked,
Ya no hay
half
remedio.
crying, and
¿Quién
Parral
sabe qué vamos a
translated.
hacer ahorita?
Charlie Burton,
Y ahora
old,
no hay
lovable
remedio.
Charlie, had been bothering her, annoying her at the hotel.
Que lo más hablado,
She tried to avoid him,
creía que
but had made the mistake of telling her husband. He'd been furious and had come to the hotel earlier in the evening. That's when I'd seen the two of them arguing on the terrace. She hadn't seen him since.
So, Senor Dollar, what is it you are think?
I think you'd better find a husband, and find him quick.
Now, here's our star to tell you about tomorrow's intriguing episode of this week's story.
Tomorrow, death tries once more, and this time doesn't miss. But death, you know, is blind. Join us, won't you? Yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar, starring Bob Bailey, is transcribed in Hollywood. Written by Les Crutchfield, it is produced and directed by Jack Johnstone. Be sure to join us tomorrow night, same time and station, for the next exciting episode of Yours truly, Johnny Dollar. Roy Rowan speaking.
June 13th, 1956, yours truly, Johnny Dollar on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Find great Classic Radio Theater programs at a very reasonable price on cassette, CD, or flash drive for your computer by going to visit radiomemories.com. That's radiomemories.com. We thank you for making us a part of your day. Thank this station. Support their advertisers. It's their kindness and courtesy that allow us to be with you each and every time we roll around here on your favorite station. And if you miss a day here, you don't have to miss a show. Our shows are available through Spotify, Spreaker, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Amazon. Just search for Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. That's Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, or visit my webpage. At our webpage, you can also learn more about Classic Radio Theater collecting. You can also contact us. You can also hear our shows on demand. That's at classicradio.stream. Classicradio.stream. If you want to buy me a coffee, that would be good too. Thanks for listening. Tell all your friends the great radio shows are right here at this spot on the dial. Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox on your favorite radio station.